Good evening. This meeting of the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Osborne is now called to order. For the benefit of the public and for transparency purposes, this meeting is being audio and video recorded and is being live streamed on the Borough of Glen Osborne's official YouTube channel. The official record of this meeting is the written minutes that will later be approved by council. The video recording and the live stream are provided solely as a convenience to the public and are not the official record. We will now proceed according to the published agenda. Public comment will be received at the beginning of the meeting in accordance with our adopted procedures. While I'd like you all to stand for our pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Diane, could we have a roll call, please?
Jim Cohen.
Here.
John Twine. Here. Greg Curran.
Here.
Matt Dobler.
Here.
Josh Lambert.
Here.
Bill Monsky.
Here.
John Orndor.
Here.
Gary Sherman.
Here.
And our solicitor's representative tonight is
Alex Virginia.
All right. I see no visitors, and so I'd like to go to approval of the minutes. We'll do them separately. The council meeting of May 19th. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Let's move on to the committee meeting minutes of June 2nd. I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, we've approved the minutes. Mayor, do you have a report?
Just briefly, thank you.
Sure.
I wanted to update the group on Project Knock Knock. When last I caught you all up to speed, I had gotten basically down to Jennifer's house. 2 weeks ago, I didn't get out this weekend, unfortunately. That's part of the end of the story here. But 2 weeks ago, I crossed the boulevard and I went down to Railroad, and I went down Railroad. So that was an eventful walk, as I'm sure we can all imagine. The first house that I ran into there was a house that we've all talked about a lot. And I had a very long, I thought, healthy conversation with that neighbor. And like other conversations that I've had that I've reported back on, there's work for us to do. And I think that there's things that we can do. And I thought that the whole way down the street. Not surprisingly, a lot of people were grateful just to have somebody knocking on the door and asking. And I really do think that there are a lot of people down there who, I mean, not I think, it's clear. There are a lot of people down there who love where they are and who are have just as much pride in their neighborhood as anybody else. And I think we are foolish. It's a missed opportunity if we don't foster those relationships and form those bonds as much as we can. So I still have the second half. I have to come back down and do the second half back there. And I did actually come up with one house that hits. It's the first one I've come up with that truly would be, if we had an emergency, we should be helping them out down there. There's a.
It's the very first one right on the creek.
I don't know about that, but
It floods the first. It floods at 25.6 feet.
oh wow. Well, I'm saying there's a house, and I don't know which one it is, and if you know, don't say it because I don't want to necessarily. But there's a house that has a medical need down there as well. So anyhow, it was very rewarding. It was a very good experience. Again, I thought it was well received. There was nothing that was bad. I mean, there were no confrontational experiences down there. And again, I come away from it thinking that it's a good experience for us to be having, and I think it's just going to be we're gonna get good input from the process.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sure that the borough is a better borough because of your Knock Knock initiative.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. Oh, and you know what? I had one other thing I wanted to say. Thank you. Before I yield my floor, you know, there was an article in the Swickley Herald where we were talking about the streaming, and I had fed the reporter a quote, and he didn't run with it, which is fair. He gets to pick and choose what he wants to write about, right? But I was hoping he would have bitten on this quote, because I said to him, I am so proud of this board for streaming and everything that we've done. I am so proud of people who have stepped out of their comfort zone and done things that I know that they don't want to do. I'm so proud of y'all giving me everything I asked for, right? I mean, streaming, recording, just what I fed the reporter was the residents of Osborne should be so grateful for what this board has given them. And I'm so excited for the future of this. But that's a gratitude towards y'all, because y'all really do deserve a pat on the back for doing what we did. And I wish the Swickley Herald would have run with it. But fortunately, I don't need the Swickley Herald, because I get my own platform here to share that with the residents of Osborne. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Matt, I liked your quote, "A rising tide lifts all boats."
Oh, thank you. I like that one too.
that.
Yep. I mean it. Yep. I mean it. I hope what we're doing here. This is another thing I fed to the reporter that didn't get out there, but I want to use my platform to say it. A huge part of frankly what's happening here that is not happening in Aleppo, as far as I'm concerned, is that we are using AI and Claude's skills. And those skills are readily transferred to other municipalities. So if you are tempted by the digests that we send out, I could make it so easy for you to take the skills that we're using in Claude and implement them directly into some other application of this. So again, I mean, thank you all so much, and thank you for reminding me about rising tides lifting all boats.
All right, let's move on to the secretary's report.
Yes. On the table in front of you, I prepared a sheet of bills to be paid. There are 4 late payments, bills coming in today. And on the sheet in front of you, you will see Jordan Tax Service, Osborne Trail Association, U.S. Postal Service, and Weiss Burkhart Kramer. The Jordan Tax Service bill is $271. It is 10% of a commission towards the amount of delinquent real estate tax that was collected by Jordan this month. They collected $2,714. So that is the bill you see there for check number 6784. The Osborne Trail and Park Association is something we budget for at the beginning of the year. We make 2 payments to them. This is the second. It's $4,250. That's our donation to Osborne Trail and Park Association. Most people refer to it as Mary Roberts Reinhardt Park. The U.S. Postal Service payment is $276. That's our annual renewal fee for Post Office Box 97, which is the borough's official mailing address with the IRS, with SAM, with the federal government. So it's very important that we maintain our post office box. And finally, the $448 payment for check number 6787 is for Weiss Burkhart Kramer. That is our zoning hearing board solicitor, and that was among final payments towards the 1102 Ohio River Boulevard decision that we talked about last month. So I just wanted to apprise We received our crossing guard reimbursement from Quaker Valley School District. Our arrangement is for our crossing guard Margie, who is the crossing guard at Osborne Elementary School. The agreement was made many, many years ago that Quaker Valley School District would pay for half of her wages, we would pay for the other half. Each month during the school year, we pay Margie in full for her wages for that period. And twice a year, I send the Quaker Valley School District a letter, which appeared in your packet, requesting reimbursement for half of her wages, and I include all of her timesheets. So that payment came in, and one of our nicest payments from Magistrate Roselli came in today. Normally we receive about $200 or $250 a month for police fines. This month it was $562, and that included fines for people who did not shovel their snow. Clint, our code enforcement officer, made a major effort to go throughout the borough, door to door, and observe what was going on during the snowy times. He sent letters to residents reminding them of our ordinance that requires that they maintain their sidewalks. And another courtesy letter went out. After that, they did receive citations. So big portion of the $562 consisted of fines for property owners who did not follow up and shovel their snow. And we received a miscellaneous income from the Quaker Valley COG, a check for, there is a grant that municipalities receive through the COG for our recycling performance, and it's calculated on how many pounds of recycling we submitted. And that reimbursement check was, or grant check rather, was $396. And we will be having another zoning hearing. We received a request for a variance. A property owner wants a fence that will exceed the height of what our latest zoning ordinance requirements are. So that arrived today. I've forwarded it to our zoning hearing solicitor, and we will be setting up a meeting and hearing time in the near future. So we can anticipate in the coming months a decision regarding that, and also additional expenses. So those were financially the late things that occurred today. I did receive a call from Bill Boswell inquiring about two things. He wanted the timeline for when we are going to repair his driveway, the surfacing of his driveway. And he also was concerned about two trees that were destroyed at, we call it the Little Bridge, on Beaver Road near Davis Lane. On Memorial Day at 3 in the morning, a huge tree came down. You can see a huge dent in the little guardrail and took out two of our pretty little trees. Years ago, we had a beautification landscape committee. It was before I was here, and they were responsible for planting the trees on both sides of that. You don't even realize it's a little bridge, but you'll see a guardrail. So he was curious as to what council would consider doing as far as replacing those two trees. I did receive another call from a resident on Glen Mitchell Road who had two questions. We were supplying doggy waste disposal bags.
No.
Weren't we?
No. just-
Never?
We decided
Not
not to.
to.
We figured that people could actually put their doggy waste in the trash receptacles.
Okay, so,
We talked about it and, because Aleppo does it.
oh, okay.
They have,
Well,
you
she
know.
must walk in Aleppo also, and for whatever reason, she wanted to know if we would be supplying
Yeah,
those
we
bags.
do not have,
Should we put a trash can there?
well, we have the trash can here and then
There's the one at the Davis Run Bridge.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Davis Run Bridge, and it's,
Yeah.
And then there's the one at the head of the ramp
you know.
coming up from the boulevard.
Right.
So no longer having a dog, I don't know these things. Yeah, but if they're there, I'm not worried about it.
Yep, we have them scattered through like every so often.
I will say one thing, receptacles do reduce the odor. And maybe it is something we should consider.
I also think her confusion may occur because Swickley, the Borough of Swickley offers that.
Hmm.
So that was a comment from one of the residents. And she was also concerned about the condition for where she would walk along Glen Mitchell Road. She seems to think that we could sweep it or make it more user-friendly. I don't know, Matt, have you ever walked along Glen Mitchell Road near where the houses are, that side?
I have. It's kind of a bizarre little situation because there's sidewalk and then there's not sidewalk. And in the places where there's not sidewalk, there's sort of, it's been trampled down, and some people have even put some crushed gravel down there.
So different people handle it different ways.
Correct. But it's not, it does kind of beg for some unification. Either there should be sidewalks or no sidewalks, and if there are, I mean, it just shouldn't, it doesn't lend to an experience that's fun, much less, I think, safe, if you're going in and out of sidewalk and on and off sidewalk. It's just not it's not my preference.
So apparently she's an avid dog walker, and that's part of her route. So, at this point, one other important thing happened. In going over the reconciliation of our general fund FMB checking account, since February, the end of February, I noticed that we had an outstanding check month after month. So I looked it up, and it was our payment to Brian Brown in February. Evidently, the check got lost in the mail, and I called him, and he had not yet received it. So I called our assistant branch manager at FMB and explained the situation. Normally, they would charge a fee for a stop payment. For two reasons, she was gracious and did not charge us a fee. She did initiate the stop payment, and we created a replacement check for Brian. And she appreciates the business that we have had with FMB for many years. And also, as soon as I mentioned Brian's name, she said, "Oh, Brian Brown, many of our clients have him and have his service." So she just spoke of him glowingly because her clients, other customers at FMB are so pleased with his service. So in essence, what I'm saying, we did replace the check and everything is fine. So that was a little note I included on the payments and the check detail, payment by fund in your packet. So for right now, that is the extent of my report.
Thank you.
Can we go back to your first point, at the bridge?
Yes,
Where
yes.
the tree came down?
Yes.
Was the question, are we going to replace some trees there?
Mhm.
Or was it a more general question as to something else we're going to do
first of all, I have to say, that tree came down at 3 in the morning on Memorial Day, and Brian Brown was there immediately when the call went out, and he took care of that for us. So that is among the expenses listed, on the check detail for his check this month. I think, when Bill Boswell called, he was in hopes of two things. Number one, that council would decide to replace the trees, and he also asked that when replacing the trees, we don't just get little saplings, we get larger trees, which obviously would be available at a much higher cost, so that the symmetry of how it used to look would still, we would try to maintain that.
I did ask Brian Brown about replacing them. He said it would be absolutely no problem. He'd have it in a week.
Okay,
But I would have to tell him what size trees.
right, and,
Do we need to worry about the guide rail that's?
And we need to worry about the guardrail.
Before
the,
we start planting trees and have some.
It would be-
Guide rail and damage the new trees.
the guide rail is an Allegheny County guide rail. I don't know if you recall, a number of years ago, it was damaged by a drunk driver, and I contacted Allegheny County at that point. They had someone come out, look at it, and determine, yes, it's damaged, yes, it's under their, purview, but it was not a high priority replacement. And obviously, we've still been low man on the totem pole there. I will be happy to contact them again and ask them to come out and assess.
I haven't looked carefully, but how close is the guardrail to where the trees were? Do you know?
It's right in front of them.
I'm just wondering whether we should delay planting the trees because they're so close to where the guardrail is and that they would get damaged if the guardrail were to be replaced. It
No.
seems to me if you're gonna replace the guardrail, it's not gonna affect the trees that are planted there.
But
Do you think?
Allegheny County,
I don't know how much room they need to do their work.
right,
And I would just hate to shell out, since,
I think
We're
you'd be
talking
surprised how
expensive trees.
expensive the trees will be
yeah.
if we want
Yeah, if we want.
slightly more mature.
Well, I think that we probably should wait for at least this summer. And if the Allegheny County does not come out and repair the guardrail, then I think we need to write them another letter.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll be happy to contact them.
Good. All right, solicitors report?
Relatively brief for right now. I know the biggest point for Anna is that she will have a resignation letter, a formal one coming for July. That will be for council to approve with an effective date of the first Monday in January. I'm happy to discuss kind of where we go from in the interim during executive session, but to be clear, you still absolutely have Anna and me here. You will still be seeing me at these meetings. Sorry, not sorry for that, but we'll still be working together on that. We've had a couple right-to-know law requests come in, and then a couple matters involving code enforcement, some property, and some other litigation that are probably better discussed in executive session after tonight.
I think that now is the appropriate time, so can we go into executive session, please?
timeline on it is we will be reviewing early September.
Is there a second for that motion?
I
Sec-
second.
Any discussion? Sounds good to me, Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay? Thank you, Bill. All right, let's go on to the public safety issue of the borough, which is the River Road Railroad crossing, and get Jennifer to give us an update.
So on June 8th, we submitted our proposal for the railroad crossing elimination program, thanks to Diane. Diane was critical to this because although I thought I had been in clear communication with the QB-COG, apparently I was not. And last minute, she told me she was going out of the country and she would not help us submit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was not thrilled. So I called up Diane, went into her office, and we worked through it together for about 2 hours, and we figured it all out. So we were able to turn in that proposal with letters of support from council, as well as Norfolk Southern provided us a letter of support. Hayesville did, and Representative Valerie gave us as well. So we had what I thought was a pretty strong proposal that was submitted in there for about $88,000 to cover the analysis of 3 options for eliminating the railroad crossing at River Road and 65. That's about it. We'll know probably in like September timeframe, maybe earlier. But Diane has all of the information. She'll get the first notice, so she'll let us know.
Now, my understanding is that the borough committed to $17,000 to support this initiative.
Yes.
Is there any grant application to pay for that?
I will be working on submitting for LSA, which it covers planning. I'd like to do that through the QV-COG, but I have not heard back from Michelle again. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe she's still out of the country.
She is.
Okay, so she's still out of the country. But I'm also, it's now clear to me that we don't need that service. We could do it on our own. I just think it could be stronger from a council of several governments rather than just one. So as far as, I prefer to still do it through that, if that makes sense, but we would go after an LSA.
Good, good.
Matt, tomorrow night, you will be at that
I will.
meeting.
Yep.
I read that she's still traveling. She won't be there, so I guess she'll be communicating remotely.
Okay.
Perhaps you could ask her if, when
There's a better way to
we had the
communicate.
previous director, he was very, very involved with helping us with grant project. And our hopes, we are hoping that she will continue as Pat Connors did and help us.
Yeah, that's disappointing to hear that you had a bad experience.
She's very nice. I met with her once, sent 4 unanswered emails, and then she told me she was going out of the country and would not help us. So that was not thrilling.
I'm
She
just
didn't
glad I
wanna
was
help, or
back
she was
from
unable?
my vacation.
She blamed me and said I can't help because I didn't send her a draft on time. But again, sent her 4 emails asking to meet over the course of, granted, it was a very short timeline. I'm not, and she's not familiar with the grant, so totally get it, but, I don't know, I would have appreciated a response.
Mhm.
When do we expect an answer on whether we get the,
Probably August, September timeframe.
Okay.
They didn't name a date, but, yeah, so that would be then. And then the same on when we would need to submit for the LSA would be in the August timeframe. So
Okay.
I'm tracking that. Like I said, I'd like to talk to Michelle when she gets back and see if she'll do that on our behalf, but if not, I'll do it through Diane and we'll do it again.
And that
Thank
money
you.
is just for the study?
Yes, it's for the study and preliminary engineering, some environmental concerns, things like that.
So is there more money the borough's gonna have to spend on this
I don't think so. What do you mean?
in general until we get whether this project is something that we're gonna move forward with or something that we're not? Like what else are we going to be doing, spending to to get to wherever we are, that we get the study in place that we're looking for to be able to make decisions. And then who makes these decisions? Because isn't it PennDOT and the borough next to us and the railroad all together? So is there like a council of governments, I guess, of all these different entities that are gonna take part in this
Yeah,
study
yes,
and be a
yeah.
part of it? Like, how's that, like, I don't.
Yeah, it has to, the study involves coordination of stakeholders as well.
Okay.
So the coordination of stakeholders would involve everybody hearing the results of the study and agreeing on a solution. But then there's the funding of the solution, which is a whole different process. But honestly, it can't even start without a viable solution to the problem.
Okay.
So, forgive me for pausing and breathing a moment after I got this,
Yeah.
that in. I don't have line of sight to what's next necessarily, but I know that there's a lot of, the primary one would be the 65 corridor efforts through Michael Baker that the QBCOG is coordinating. And that would be like, do you go to like a monthly?
Every month, yeah.
QBCOG?
Tomorrow.
Or do they talk about the Route 65 corridor thing?
They do.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Nobody does.
Looks like.
Nobody does. It's very amorphous. It's very fluid. It's very. I think there's a. I mean, when you say Route 65, that means different people to different things to different people, and there's different initiatives going on. So, one part of that discussion is way further down 65, dealing with this new Esplanade development and.
North or south?
Almost at the city.
I saw the sign for that.
And there's talk about 65 being, there's frustration that it's an elevated highway and that it's been bad for that neighborhood that it elevated out of. So there's talk about lowering it back down.
Oh, boy. Oh.
And so when you talk about the 65 corridor, some people are talking about that, and a lot of people are talking about that. Obviously, our group cares way more about 65 down this way, and the conversations tend to be very different. And oftentimes, everybody's just coalescing around 65, and that's all.
65 is
like,
a problem.
exactly. Let's just agree that we're talking about 65, but it's not.
Don't really
You're all
know.
talking past each other.
Yeah.
So I've never found the COG conversations to be meaningful or fruitful.
The one thing that came from the COG on the Route 65 corridor was the police chiefs all began patrolling at random times, but communicating with each other about enforcement for tickets and speeding and so forth on Route 65. So there was some sort of light coordination through this that happened, but that's the only thing that I can remember for the past 7 or 8 years that Barbara had been talking to them about the corridor.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know of any money in particular that I'm asking for at this moment, other than, I'm going to attempt to get the grant to pay for the money that we've committed in our
Right.
application, which is the $17,400.
Right.
But there's no part of the study that beyond that cost share, and as long as we get that funded with another grant, there would be none. When it comes to construction, I can't imagine that Glen Osborne would be a big contributor to that. Like, I just don't think
Yeah, we
that's
can't-
reasonable.
Yeah, it's not possible.
So, then it's the state of Pennsylvania, it's Allegheny County, it's maybe the FRA, it's thinking it's other sources.
Jennifer, for the benefit of folks who are hearing about this for the first time and hearing you announce that we've applied for this grant, and they don't have the luxury of all the background context, can you just tell us at like a 10,000 meter level what that means that you've applied for a grant to eliminate the railroad crossing?
Yeah, so what it means is I think if anyone who lives in this area understands the safety concerns at that intersection. It's, through my research, I've found that over 150 vehicles have been in accidents, including 2 fatalities in the last 5 years at that intersection. And that's, I witnessed many more that I think go undocumented, honestly, including 5 more since I found those in between the time when I turned in the grant. So anyway, I became aware of it when I moved in and can see the intersection from my house, but also I've talked to a lot of people who have been involved in accidents in that space. So I'm pretty passionate about this, but, what I have looked for is money to address the safety concerns. And what I came across was a Federal Railroad, Administration, FRA grant to close crossings. So crossings, railroad crossings are a hazard for everybody. When you have something where a road and a railroad cross at the same grade, it's called an at-grade crossing. And when you have this, it's an issue, it slows down traffic, it slows down the train, there's safety issues. So the Federal Railroad Association, or Administration, has, put money out there to the tune of, I forget what it was, over $1 billion, I think, over the last few years, appropriated by Congress to pay for communities to eliminate these. It also can include planning grants. We don't have a viable solution plan, so we could not go after construction money, but we were able to go after planning money to eliminate or to come up with a solution to eliminate a railroad crossing through an overpass, a bridge, something like that.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's move on to Public Services Committee. On video streaming update, I am still looking for an email from you.
Oh, no, I didn't send it to you? Oh, my heavens, I'm sorry, John.
I clicked on the little QR code that you had on your letter and registered
Okay, then you'll get it, when did you do that?
yesterday.
Okay, then you'll definitely get this email, but I thought I sent you the digest from last week, but I'll send it again.
Okay, I would really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing myself on camera.
I think it's just looking at me, though. Honestly, I see these two eyes.
We see them too. That's
Yeah,
all.
they're
all over.
It's like an owl.
It's the top, the camera is at the top, actually.
It's not public.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Is there anyone else on council that has any questions for Matt about,
I did want to say, as an update, when we're talking about the streaming, oh boy, I checked at the beginning of the meeting, now I can't check back in, but we had 28 hits, 28 views at the beginning of the meeting from last week's meeting. And again, I always like to make the observation that if you're comparing that to cat videos, it's not impressive, right? It's not the numbers that you get from viral videos. But when you think to yourself, how many people were here in present? It was 0. And so 28 is 28 more than you had before you were doing this. And to me, that's huge. And that is real involvement. So that's my thought.
Did the digest go out?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't get one either? Okay, I'll also make sure everybody got it. Some people got it, for sure.
how many got it?
I don't know. I can't tell you that.
I got the email.
Oh, how many here got it?
How many
You got it.
I
here?
got the email.
Yeah,
I got it.
you got
You
it.
got the
Okay.
email? Okay.
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
I'm not sure I got it, so we'll just send it again.
Okay, I will. Yep.
All right, let's move on to the website upgrade. What's going on there, Josh?
So we got email addresses now, which is great. So I just got that today. I emailed her again today. And she sent like a one-page instruction document of how to get them set up, how to change your password, how to hook them up to your whatever app you use. And I'll forward that to all of you right now. And yeah, I guess we can start using them. Maybe it makes sense to use both. Actually, I don't know legally what we should do, but to me, it would make sense to use everyone's personal and Glen Osborne email addresses for a month, just to make sure everyone's set up in all the right places. But start sending from that email address instead of your personal.
And we're
Okay.
gonna have a link where we can go to log in and just work off of there and
Yep.
to completely disassociate with whatever service we're using.
Yeah, and that's all in the document.
I need to use the @Swickley Borough
Yeah.
email.
That's fine. You can continue to use
Keep
that. Yeah.
contacting me there, please.
Okay, so when we go to the Borough website, is there going to be anything there which allows residents to make contact with individual council members?
There will be a form right on the front page, which I think right now, I forget what you said, if you sent it to yourself or Diane, Matt, but, I mean, it's not live yet either way, so once we get it live, we can decide if we want it to go just straight to Diane, if we want it to go to the whole council, cause there is also a council alias, which includes everybody. Just double check. Yeah, so that's up to us, how we wanna set that up.
Okay. Are there any questions from the rest of council for Josh about the new website or about using our new email addresses? Thank you, Josh. All right, let's go on to Public Works. We've already talked in executive session about the private storm sewers and about the Public Works contract. As far as the Davis Run Bridge, I think we've decided that we're gonna wait until Allegheny County comes and tells us about what they're gonna do about the guardrail before we try and plant new trees, so that we can report that to Mr. Boswell.
And they don't move very quickly. I remember the last time I contacted them, it was about 4 months before they came and looked at it.
I'm going to ask Brian Brown to reseal Mr. Boswell's driveway. And it's about the right time of year, and I think the expense is certainly within our budget. I don't think there's any other public works concerns that I know of. All right. Going on to emergency management. Any?
Not much to report. I mean, we've had a few power outages over the past week, but nothing that lasted more than about 30 hours. The only thing I want to make people aware of is on July 11th, the big boy 4014 is going to be coming through. So we're going to see people lined up along the railroads taking pictures. It's going to be between 4 and 5 o'clock. Be careful, it's going to be coming from Pittsburgh towards Leedsdale.
Can you share what that is?
Huh?
Can you share what that is?
It's the world's largest active steam locomotive. Union Pacific Railway.
Huh.
So there are gonna be people lined up all along 65 corridor to watch it.
Is that a special event for the?
It's doing the America 250 tour,
Okay.
and I believe it left somewhere in the Midwest. It went through northern Pennsylvania, it headed towards the east, and then it's gonna be coming back around on the lower track. It's gonna be spending the night in Conway. It's stopping in Leedsdale for 30 minutes. So it's gonna be coming right past here, and you're gonna see a lot of people with cameras.
When did you say it was?
7-Eleven.
Between 4 and 5. Between 4, yeah, between 4 and 5:30,
But you can use
something
my
like that.
backyard if you need to.
So.
Bill, have you done anything about the cooling?
For cooling centers,
centers?
I relayed the message that officially we have 0 cooling centers in Glen Osborne because we cannot guarantee that anything is gonna be open.
Thank you. Good. Not that that makes us any more comfortable with a possible heat emergency, but at least we've notified the county
Right.
that they can't count on us. Financial reports and bills. Bill?
Yeah, there's a regular series of bills this month, all within the norm. And I will just say this is probably our favorite time of year because all the real estate tax money is coming in. So it's an inflow. So we will look forward to seeing how that comes in, if it comes in relative to our expectations, or if there's some variance we need to figure out
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to pay the bills for this month.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bills to be paid? I have a question for Alex here. Is this a typical $4,000 monthly expense for your services? Is that something?
I would have to check what Anna submitted. Again,
Is that about
still.
what we pay a month?
It's higher than usual, but, there've been more things going on.
Oh, yeah,
than
they
usual.
certainly have
I can-
been.
I can send you a detailed copy.
Yeah, we would have sent that over to you, Diane, for sure.
Okay, that was just sort of a question that I had in my mind. Any other bills that call for more attention here? All right, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote here. Bill Munsky,
Aye.
Gary Sherman,
Aye.
Jim Cohen,
Aye.
John Orndorff, aye. Josh Lambert,
Hi.
Jennifer Coyne,
Aye.
Greg Curran. The bills are paid. All right. Planning Commission, nothing that I know of there. QV-COG will, there's nothing to report.
Nope.
Okay. The zoning, I've asked Anna to, she said that when Jennifer brought up this concern about swimming pools and trying to revise our zoning ordinance, she said, yeah, there are several little things that we need to clean up about the zoning ordinance.
Yes.
And we should put them together in a package.
Yes.
How's that going?
Good. So with all your documents tonight, the last one should have a couple blue bolded titles. But Anna, Clint, and I had gone over some of the areas where either there's potential for ambiguities in definitions or potential ambiguities in enforcement. It's usually just easier with the advertising requirements and everything else that you have to do to amend the zoning ordinance, that if we have a couple things, it's usually just procedurally easier and more efficient for the borough as well, just to do one general reopening of the zoning ordinance rather than a couple small fixes here and there as they come up. It's just usually easier to negotiate. This list is not definitive, but it's more of a general list of topics. We just ask that you guys review this, and if there's other areas or specific amendments that you can identify, we're gonna keep going through this. The process would be to then work with the Planning Commission to refine language, potentially add any additional items. So Diane, we would just ask that you contact the Planning Commission and let them know that a meeting is going to be needed eventually, hopefully in the next month or so. The other thing just to consider, and the reason why it's easier to do this all in one fell swoop rather than piecemeal, is because we have we're part of that joint zoning ordinance, we have to notify Aleppo and Swigley as well. So this just it's easier on all the parties to make sure that we can just do this in one larger clump than kind of going bit by bit. I'm trying to think, I don't know if we have a direct schedule on that. It just depends on how many updates we need. I know the big one to discuss that kind of started this was keeping or removing the fence requirement for swimming pools, because that's kind of what started this process off. So that's something I can certainly listen to.
Everyone has a copy of this? All right. So the Planning Commission has to approve this and then
Yes.
make a recommendation to council.
Exactly.
All right, so,
John, in answer to your question about the Baps Cowan bill, more than half of that bill was for enforcement, such as the Darian Flatley situation and the Phelps.
Oh, yeah.
Fadden, and yes, more than half of that bill is going towards that.
phew, okay. Thank you, Diane. Any old business? Now, for the new business, we've talked about, already passed a motion to advertise for a new solicitor, so that is the only new business that I'm aware of. Is there any other new business?
I have one thing. I spoke with the police chief today. He said that he is going to, or the police force is going to start to enforce motorized bicycles, scooters, little off-road bikes that kids have been riding around on the public streets without helmets, young kids as young as 9, 10, 11 years old at high rates of speed. There are existing laws,
Good.
and he's going to enforce those existing laws, preferably by warning, speaking to kids and their parents, but at some point after multiple or single warnings, if it continues to be a problem, tickets will be written to
Good.
parents of youth under 16. And then if you're 16 and older, you will get that, even if you don't have a driver's license. If and when you do apply for it, that ticket would then be enforced when you get your driver's license. And if you have a driver's license and you're riding a scooter, let's say the wrong way at a high rate of speed, that would be a ticket, just like you would get in your car
What
if
are
you're
the
the driver.
rules?
They posted the regulations on their Facebook page.
Yes.
So the police do.
And really, it's common sense. I mean, it's for the most part, it's common sense. And,
Are the-
and it's not bicycles, it's the
But are they
the
allowed
motorized.
on the roads or not allowed on the roads?
They are allowed on the roads depending on how old you are and how fast you're going, like,
And how big they are.
and then, right.
How big the kid is?
You know,
There
like,
are,
I would think.
they have it on their Facebook page.
And I don't wanna speak to that specifically because
Oh, really?
it's kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really no different than riding a bike. A lot of the kids are 15, 20 miles an hour on the sidewalks
Yeah.
on these things. They're not wearing helmets. They're going the wrong way on the streets. So they're just trying to keep it
Oh, yeah.
somewhat
It's crazy.
within a,
What is
safe,
the ordinance,
respectful.
if there is an ordinance on bicycles on sidewalks in general?
I don't think there is. I don't believe I've ever heard of any ordinance that deals with that problem.
Okay.
There are rules.
yeah, there are.
Also related to the electric bikes, I know there's a lot of legislation in other states, I don't know what's going on here. But a lot of these, then I see them around here, especially ones that look like, small motorcycles, or, yeah, the motor sizes are pretty extreme, actually. I
Mhm.
mean, some of these bikes can do 30, 45 miles an hour. And I don't know if Pennsylvania has really addressed that issue. I know Rails and Trails doesn't allow certain bikes, but, it is becoming a real issue, with the speed and the safety, especially for kids. I don't know why, I mean, parents buy kids these, bicycles and scooters, and the speed they go is ridiculous.
Please
So
know that
that's what they're
riding-
addressing, is the speed, and as far as you know,
Gary, please know that riding bicycles on the sidewalk is also a violation,
it is.
apparently.
And does that
Oh.
matter by age?
So in depending on where you're
I'm
at.
not, I'm supposed to take my 3-year-old and 5-year-old on the road?
No,
with my
so,
bike
so
all
we
the
don't,
time?
it's not enforced in the school zone or in the area when kids come to and from school, or if it's a young child on the sidewalk, that's not an issue. It's more to do with older kids who are riding their bikes at excessive rates of speed. And if you're in Sewickley and you're in the business district, they want you to get off the bike and walk your bike through the business district, not ride your bike down the sidewalks in the business district. It's really common sense stuff that, you know, as a kid riding their bike at a high rate of speed down through the business district, it's not gonna end well for anybody. So they're gonna tell you to get off the bike and walk it.
There's already a habit of people not looking as they cross a street. They just walk right out without looking to see if there's someone in a car already turning
Yes,
into that street. And it's just gonna happen with bikes, scooters, and e-bikes.
Right.
As well.
correct, I agree.
It's not only kids riding on the sidewalk.
And that's the problem, that they try and balance between young kids,
No,
which
like
they
I
don't
ride with
push.
my 5-year-old, right, you know, I'm not gonna be on the road while she's
No.
on.
And they don't push those kids onto the road. And in the morning specifically, they actually are out there at different times telling the kids to get off their bikes and take a look down the side streets to make sure the side streets are okay to cross, and then cross the street. So they're working on safety and not pushing little kids into the street. That's
And
not the
remember
intent.
the hard example we had at Osborne Lane
Yeah.
earlier in the year, where a truck was backing up and a little girl crossing the sidewalk, saw what was happening, got off her bike, the truck ran over the bike. And she was okay, but this is going to happen when people think everything's good, everything's going their way, they're not planning for something unusual to happen.
And they don't always
Sure.
set the speed, do they? I don't see it.
Well, this is a big impact. I have a 12-year-old, so this is
Size
all
of
of
the
them.
56 wheels.
Yeah, and he rides a bike because I'm like, no way, but
And they don't require.
all of his friends ride to my house every day.
Just the other day, I saw father-daughter with the daughter on the sidewalk. She was 5'6", maybe 7, and father was in the road on the bike. So that seemed pretty functional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They all need to share the road.
Yeah, and if your kids are riding on the sidewalk, slow down. You
Right.
can't fly down the sidewalk, you know. I think it's gonna be more if you're endangering people versus seeing a kid on the sidewalk, get up, you know.
Well, but these
at a safe speed.
scooters and these bikes. Right?
And that's where the problem
That's-
comes in,
That's
right?
gonna be big. I don't think it's the bicycles so much.
No, that's right.
On a safety issue, we have our new crosswalk sign at Orchard and Borough. How do you feel about that, Matt?
I'm very excited. Safety first.
Do you think the placement on the road is
I do.
good? Okay,
Yep.
because we've lost crosswalk signs so many times because I don't know if it's truck drivers or people don't manipulate the turns, but you're.
I think they
it's
look
in a
good. Yep.
place.
Coming out of Rabbit, it's awkward where it's placed, especially if you're going towards the city. I mean, you really have to drive into the opposite lane to get around it.
Okay, so which way would you want it
You have to
moved?
put it closer to Swiftly.
Towards Swickley?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not much, just enough that you can make that turn.
okay. How about if we ask you to make that move for?
Am I allowed?
Yeah. Yeah.
You are christened.
You are
So deputized.
Right.
I think the people that have to utilize the turn the most often, such as
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, my
are
only
the best.
concern is sometimes when you come out of there, because we have bushes on each side, which
Yeah.
are hard to see anyhow, and you're going against traffic for,
Mhm.
probably a few yards before you get into the other
So
lane.
that would be perfect.
Yeah, but where you think it's safe.
All right, any correspondence? No? I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you for a very productive meeting.
Thank
Wow.
you.